development in the state and coordinating. Prior to this, he had worked as an assistant director at Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, looking after various industrial sectors such as MSME, energy, infrastructure, HR, and IR, healthcare to promote them. He was also coordinating social development in Confederation of Indian Industry, presiding his engagement with FICCI. He has experience working with both corporate sectors and CSOs in various areas such as CSR marketing, HIV/AIDS intervention program, capacity building. His roles holds a master in social work from Madras School of Social Work, Chennai. Welcome, Rufus sir. Over to Lakshmi Mohan sir.
Rufus George, very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to one and all. Sir, this is a great initiative by us because one of the need of the hour session for us, sir. Definitely, it will create NSDC. NSDC helps a lot to our industry and as well as institution. We are expecting good things and more relevant to our institutions, sir. A relevant expectation, good expectation from you, sir. Thanks a lot, Babu sir, and thanks. I would like to thank Axis Kashyap sir this wonderful time. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir. Rufus George. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. I can share my screen now.
Yes, sir. You are a co-host, sir. You have the rights to share.
Thank you. A very good evening to all of you. So the topic for today is, I hope you can hear me, is skilling for India's future. You know, my topic may not be more into digital transformation or digital technology, but it's very basic on skilling, which is fundamental for any industry to function. So so when you talk about skilling, you have to think about what's it going to be in the future. What is it, right? What is skilling doing right now? What is it going to do in the future? So to begin with, there are 5 global trends, which is changing business models, which is literally addressing the business across the globe. One is technological innovation. Every day you have this disruption technology, new things are coming in. Like, for example, I'm not going to dwell on those, but as new things are coming in, the old things are exiting. So the one question is, how prepared are we? Second is global economic integration, demographic and generation shifts, climate change and sustainability, because it's directly affecting all the industries. And the most important that we're going to focus on is global shortage of skilled labor. So skilled labor is a major issue, because if you have the companies, if you have all the technology, but you don't have the labor to manufacture, then I think that is a very, you're going back to, again, ground zero, because you will not be able to produce any product. So from that, we will begin with, what I will do is, I will just take a few minutes to talk upon what is the current trend in skilling in India, and then later on I will move on to talk about what NSDC is doing to address them, what the ministry is doing to address it, and then with that we'll close. Firstly, Indian skill scenario. So if you see, India's got something called demographic dividends, widely one of the biggest economic assets. That means that contributes a lot. As you see, more than 54% of today's population are below 25 years, and 62% are in the working age group of 15 to 59. So India has like the primary demographic population of India are all youth. So that's what we're talking about. And then we've come to skill. So to fully realize, to get the maximum out of from these young population, it is essential that we equip these youth with skills and training. So we will see why this is such an important. See, the Ministry of Skill Development, MSDE, and Entrepreneurship is aiming to skill 400 million young Indians by 2022 with a outlay of around 12,000 crores. It has been going on. We've finished PMKVY 1, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which is the flagship program of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So, and we have coming to PMKVY 2. We are moving to PMKVY 3 when we had this unfortunate Corona incident. And finally, coming back to our focus on Indian skill scenario. See, when we compare the percentage of skilled workforce from India to any other country, we're in a very bad shape. For example, if you see, um, as you see the slide, we have only 2%. South Korea, if you say 96% are skilled. In Japan, 80% are skilled. Germany, 75% are skilled. UK, 68%, and China subsequently 40%. But India, only 2%. So that is the situation that we are dealing with, because I'll tell you, skill is such an important thing. Um, the statistics say, AICTE says that more than 60% of the 8 lakh engineers graduating from technical institutions across the country every year remain unemployed. What is the reason? See, the main thing is, it's not about getting a degree, but once you get the degree, the question is, are you skilled enough to directly get into employment? Do you know that there seems to be a disconnect between practical implementation of what you're learning and what we are learning here is theory, but when we go and do it practically, that's why we miss out, because we have not done anything, uh, any practical experience. We've not done it in colleges, and we've not learned that. So what it does to us, does to the youth especially, is it's making them useless. Even after having a qualification, they're not ready to be employed. That is a problem that we're facing today. So as you see, more than 60% of 8 lakh engineers don't get employed, and 39 employees say that attracting and finding quality talent is one of the most challenging aspects. Today 90% of the jobs are skill based. That means without skills you will not get a job. So that is the reason you see freshers, because even though they've educated, they studied in best institution, they're not able to get a job because they don't know how to do it. It's just theory. So that is why we're talking about, that is what skill is all about. As we saw earlier, 2% of the population between the age group of 15 to 25 um, is only enrolled for vocational training. The rest don't give any importance to vocational training. There is a difference in India. If you see, it's very biased. If you go abroad, it's you talk about dignity of labor. In India, it's not like that. If a person studies, he's given respect. Okay, he studied, he's a graduate. But if a person is a laborer, you can see that it kind of reduces, because he's working, he's a skilled laborer, and not smart. That has to be broken, and that is one reason mm, we are focusing on skill development in such a big way. And another thing, as we see, is limited mobility between education and vocational training due to lack of equivalent recognition of vocational skills. That is, like, as I said earlier, we differentiate between people who study in colleges and people who study in ITIs. So that is a major problem. So that has to be broken. And another thing is, you have very few industries setting up industrial training centers, very few of them, because when the industries get in and do and have a training center, that has a different effect, because when the industries come into this, they know what the industry needs. For example, they know what people should be trained on. So as an institution, we can come up with various courses. The question that we need to ask is that course that we are giving, is it relevant to the industry? Will the industry find any benefit of taking our students? So that is the question, because when we fail in that, that is when the students are not being placed. That is when, or what we teach, maybe it's not compatible with what the industry needs. That's a question we need to ask. So that's about the Indian scenario. And then moving on to challenges. So around 70 million additional individuals of youth basically are expected to enter the country's labor force by 2023. So if you see, the statistics says it will be around 404.15 million people, according to the PLFS. So this is a huge thing that we're facing. You must be aware of demographic dividend. Right now, you have the highest number of young people, and uh, if we do not skill these young people, automatically they're going to end up jobless. They're not going to get placed. They're not going to get placed. Industry is going to suffer. Ultimately, if you see their perspectives, their focus, everything is going to go in a different direction. So we need to focus on strategies of reskilling and increasing the skills of the current workforce. Today, if you see, the scenario is changing. We're talking about electric cars coming in the future. The question is, how many people do we have who can work on electric cars, and how many people who do we have today skilled who can work on new work on new things which are coming with upgraded skills and knowledge. we don't have much people. So that is what we need to focus on. We need to have a strategy wherein people, as they're working, they need to be skilled again and again. They need to be upskilled, reskilled, and move on to the next level. So when we do this, we will have a complete a total proper manpower who can literally skill and drive the economy. And again, we see India's, once again, labor force above 30 is 262 million people, of which 259 currently are employed. And the question is, they need to be future ready. The question is, as even the topic says, for the future, the question is, are they future ready? They're not. They need to be skilled. We need to work out mechanisms for that. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. Even today, we have a lot of problems with people. People come, they join, either the company fires them or they leave. They don't have a proper attitude to work. A lot of things we're facing. So these are the challenges that we're facing, and expanding public sector collaboration with the industry and the private sector. See, skilling is not the job of government, and skilling is not the job of the private sector alone. It is a joint collaborative effort. The government also has to do it. The private sector also has to join hands with the government to ensure that skilling happens, because only then you will get the right candidates with the right skill set to do the right kind of job. And secondly, everything is connected. Creating pathways for international mobility. What is international mobility? You see, today when you talk about demographic dividend, the average age group, in India is about 25 years, but across the globe, in China it's about in Japan it's about 50, and in US about 45, in the Europe countries about 45. So India has the youngest people. So the question again comes to, you have the youngest people, but you have them trained. See, when you talk about international mobility, you need to send trained people abroad. For example, if you see, there is a lot of mobility from India to the Gulf countries. But if a same candidate comes from Malaysia or Thailand, elsewhere, he's able to use the latest gadgets. He's able to use the latest gadgets. He's got a certificate for whatever skill training is done. But India, they don't have proper certification. So what happens is, very often Indians end up doing a lot of work, but they can get paid very little. So what is happening is exploiting. So this has to be broken, and to this you need to certify that they are skilled. And what is the process? How do we do that? So we need to certify them. There are different mechanisms under the PMKY scheme itself. There are another method. It's called RPL, recognition of prior learning. Now, what recognition of prior learning does is, for example, you take a mechanic. He's got a mechanic garage, and he's working there for 10 or 15 years. But when we look at him, we just look at him and say, oh, he's not educated, and no company is going to come and employ him. So what RPL is, recognition of prior learning program, does is, it will pick him out, it will train him on that particular job. I'm not train him, sorry, assess him on the particular job, because he already knows that once he passes the test, they will give him a certificate. Now this certificate is given by the Ministry of Skill Development. Now he is a certified candidate who can take up job in any company or go anywhere and work. So what we have done is, we've recognized the skill because he knows it, and we've acknowledged that, and we've said, okay, this particular person knows how to fix the car, or knows how to fix the two-wheeler. He knows this. He knows according to the process. So this is what it does. And this slide is the government-based program that we're working on. One is PMKVY. You have STT. STT stands for short-term training. RPL is for recognition of prior learning, and special projects, which is between where you need some certain leverage. For example, we do trainings in jails. So when you do training in jails, there is a amount of confinement. People are not able to go out and all those things. There is focus on one particular product which is produced there, one kind of training that you give in there. So that is a special training. And as I told you earlier, the whole PMK outlay is about 12,000 crores for 4 years. And the other schemes are NAP scheme, apprenticeship scheme, Sankalp, Udan, and all those things. So now, to explain to you, we've been talking about skill development. So how is the skill ecosystem in India? So the skill, this is how it looks. You have the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship at top. Underneath, you have the National Skill Development Agency, and then you have the Director General of Training, DGT, which looks after the ITIs and government, private. And then you have National Skill Development Fund, where the money is the full skill for the training program. The money comes in from there. It's dispersed to NSDC for PMKY. And NSDC, if you see, is a public-private partnership. So you have stakes. We have 51% of the stake is owned by the private sector, which will be associations like FICCI, CIA, CM, ASSOCHAM, and all those major associations, and then the rest is owned by the ministry. So this is how NSDC is built, and this is the overall skill ecosystem. Next, moving on, what is NSDC's role? So as it's written here, building training capacity through private sector participation, setting up strong industry linkage and partnership, facilitating government schemes and priorities. This is what NSDC basically does. So to move further. So NSDC's key role. So we literally re-engineering India's skilling ecosystem. It's like facilitating private sector participation and skill development. We do CSR programs. We have various training providers who provide training in different areas. We give funds for training. Sorry. So we try to merge the education department and the skill development. For example, we have a partners who are working in schools to bring in skill development at the school level itself. So from there itself, these candidates, see, when a candidate, when a student finishes 10th standard, he has an option. That is an intervention point. He can either go for higher studies, or he can move on to getting to any particular skill. The same thing applies in 12th standard. Once he finishes, he can move on for higher studies, or he can take up some skill training program. And today the need is more for skill development, and I'll tell you how we work on the competency mapping as well. So we've done it with schools, and we work with CSR, wherein CSR companies give their CSR just for skill development. That money is used just for skill development. In Tamil Nadu itself, we have 2 organizations for whom we've been providing training, skill development. That is, one is for the Kodungulam nuclear power plant, and next one is for Indian Oil Corporation. So for both of them, we're doing it across India. We have several projects we're doing with several big companies, and we also set up Center for Excellence in skill development in India across all the states, and educational institutions to promote vocational and skill development. And as I said, higher educational institutions, and experiential learning. This is we focus on to, so that the whole idea about skill development is about you need to work. So our PMKVY training program that we have created. So for example, if it's a 4 hours program, 2 hours are theory and 2 hours are just fully practical. So the whole idea is, if the student doesn't do any practical, if he doesn't get his hands on it, he doesn't learn the skill. So if he doesn't learn the skill, he is not ready for the industry. So we give him a foretaste, we give him an experience on how to do the job. So when he gets to the company, he's ready to take up the job. He's just ready to go on to the shop floor. That's what we talk about. And strengthening of industry linkage, because we need the industry, because industries are the ones who are going to hire these people and pay them. Okay, and this is how we work. NSDC's 3-pronged approach. We are the implementers of PMKV, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Apart from that, NSDC does other work. One is we fund large quality vocational training institutions. So we have funded partners, we have non-funded partners. We have like, for example, CAT-CAM, they are our partners. So we go through their course curriculum, and then once we are satisfied with the committee, after which goes through that, they become our partners. And so they have a target of training a number of people. And so you have new companies coming in, new training companies coming in, potential for training in different areas. So we fund them, we create training centers across India, so that people get an opportunity to start working in it. And through this, we enable commercial viable and scalable. So the whole idea of NSDC's training partner is not just to keep funding. We want to fund a training partner and see that to grow. Over the years, they will pay the money back, and they establish themselves as a proper skill training center, and even move on to be a center for excellence. And then under NSDC, we have some organizations called the sector skill councils, who are focused on quality assurance, and they create the course curriculum for the training that has to be made in relationship with the industry. So this is the organization role of NSDC. We provide knowledge and advisory services. We implement government schemes. We create enabling systems, and we finance businesses, and one of the main thing about NSDC is that NSDC works on technology base. See, we have developed this Skill India portal, wherein any training provider that comes to us doesn't have to make a manual application. Everything is done online. Only for the inspection, people go and check the particular place where the training is happening. Everything else, the target is provided online. The candidates, they are assessed online, and certification is provided online. Everything is online. And now we're even tying up with more organizations to even take the training online. So we are also getting advanced on that level. So on the whole, if you see, we do financing, sector skill council, which we've created, we govern them, and we are also instrumental in maintaining the website for apprenticeship and industry connect. And we do a lot of capacity building for organizations, and implementing national other government schemes, standards and quality courseware, international collaborations. We're also a part of UniWalk and CSR base, as we talk about assessment, certification, placement, market analyticals, and as I said, the Skill India portal, which ultimately makes us more technology focused. So this is the overall overall in terms of saying that NSDC is technology based. We try to reach out so that our reach is high, so it's easy to become an NSDC partner. It's easy to work with NSDC and then carry on skilling people. So as I just want to take a minute to talk about who the SSCs are, the Sector Skill Council. NSDC under its role has 38 Sector Skill Council. The Sector Skill Council are the professionals of each particular sector. We have 38 sectors. So like we've kind of divided into primary, tertiary, and manufacturing. Primary will be agriculture, food processing, green jobs, life science, personal disability, and then tertiary will be retail, IT, ITS, media, healthcare, telecom, BFSI. That is banking and financial services, logistics, plumbing, etc. And then you have manufacturing, which will cut across the sectors like automotive, rubber, even soft rocks, continents, so manufacturing, gems and jewelry, electronics and hardware, leather, capital goods, etc. Now, so what does the Sector Skill Council play? Now, they are instrumental in creating the course curriculum development for any particular job role to be created. The SSCs are very crucial. See, we take into factors like we just don't create a training program just out of nowhere. There is a research which is going on. SSC is literally a part of the industry, so they find out, they know the pulse of the industry, they know which particular job has demand. So for that particular job, a course curriculum is conducted, and then it is given, and then it is approved after much committee meetings and discussions and everything, and then it is left in the market so that people can be trained on that. In the similar sense, we also exit certain qualification pack or job roles because sometimes they become redundant. So SCCs are very instrumental on that. Not only that, because they are the ones who create the curriculum, they also do the assessment and certification of the candidates. So this is the role of the SSC. And to give a brief of what I said, they need analysis, create occupation standards and curriculum benchmark. They do skill gap studies and quality assurance and industry interfaces. And one of the main things that NSDC through the SSCs do is source master training from the industry. Every training provider who is a partner of NSDC cannot just recruit trainers, master trainers, and go on. What they need to do is they have to ensure that their trainers undergo a TOT, trainer of trainer certification under the SSC for about 10 days. So once that is done, they will be certified. So NSCC is making sure that every step we are there, making sure that everything is committed. There is a standard which is maintained till the last mile. So now we come to a very important part. Why, when we talk about skilling, the government has created something called NSQF, National Qualification Framework. So NSQF is nothing but a competency-based framework that organizes all qualification according to a series of levels. So far we've been talking about plumbers, we've been talking about carpenters, everybody. So we don't have any qualification, we don't have any division. We just see them as plumbers. But what this particular NSQF has done is it has mapped them based on their competency and their skill level. When you talk about skills, everybody, a skill is developed over a period of time. You become an expert later on. Even for example, I'll give you a simple example like driving a bike. First you drive a bike, it's called, you do it consciously, you sit down and you do it, and then after some time you're able to look straight and drive, and as the days go by it gets into your unconscious. You talk to people, you carry people behind on the bike and you talk to them. So what you developed a skill. The same thing applies in every kind of work that we do. So there is a difference between a guy who's just starting to drive and the person who's driving people at his back and able to talk and all those things. The same thing applies in skill development, where people are starting, the students are starting to get that job done and move on to a different level where they even can supervise others and move on to the next level. So NSQ basically, it is mobility between vocational and general education. It equates skill development and education on that part. So you can see that, and it allows for RPL. So when you are doing a recognition of prior learning, how will you know that this particular candidate has the qualification? So when you skill them, he can go for that particular job. So NSQ framework helps us to identify that. So it is standardized, consistent, and nationally acceptable, and also the government has sent out circulars that henceforth from 2018 any government scheme which is not NSQ aligned will not be funded. So to that extent, NSQF has come out, and I'll tell you what, when I just show it in picture, so that you'll understand what NSQF is all about. Now, this is what NSQF briefly gives you. Level one, you have a helper mason. This is for the construction sector, and level 2, you have assistant mason. Level 4, you have mason general, who knows who knows the job of both these people. And then level 5, you have foreman concrete, and level 4 you have mason special finishing. So you have a specialty at each particular level. So that is what NSQF has done. You don't generalize people. Okay, this person is just into construction, he just knows this. No, you differentiate, you give him a standing, and this is equal to, see, all these skill levels up to 6 levels of level 4 and 5 will come to 12th standard, and level 1, 2, 3, 4 will be more like a certificate that you're getting. More than that, level 5, 6, 7, it will be more like a diploma, and then it will move into doctorate and all those things. So that is what NSQF has done. It has given a standing for vocational training. Now we're moving on to Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. That is the brief that I've given you, the scheme. And overall, this is what we've done. For short-term training, we've trained so many people, 44,67,397. We've short-term training target allocated, and we've trained 34,60,000, and we've certified 28,000 because you have dropouts and all those things, and around 15 lakhs have been placed. And recognition of prior learning, we have around 84 lakhs people who've been given certificate. How we do a RPL is we through industries, we identify the industries and that particular workforce there, and we give them training. It runs for about 3 or 4 days, and then we certify them, and then once they're certified, they have the opportunity to move anywhere they want. So, and we've done it also special projects. We've placed around 57,000 so far. Okay, and we have something under the PMK, where we have also some another group of training institutions called PMKK, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra is more like a government representative training center. So each district in India will have a PMKK. So right now we have around 812 which has been allocated all over India, and 738 has been established, meaning it is running. So under this, we have placed around 54,184 people, and they're certified 92,000, assessed more than so many. This is what we have for PMKKs, enroll, train, and assist. Okay, now moving on, when we're talking about skilling for the future, as I said, you can provide skilling for people. You can provide theoretical knowledge. You can do even digital knowledge, transfer of knowledge, everything. But the whole thing is, when this particular person, when he goes to the field, does he know to do the job? When he's being interviewed, will he be able to do the job? On the day one of entering the company, can he go straight to the shop floor and start working? Is he so well versed? That is what we're talking about. So when we talk about that, we have this new scheme called apprenticeship, and not a new scheme, it's an old scheme, and a lot of leverage and consideration has been given for apprenticeship. So under which 25% of the salary to be paid to the apprenticeship is borne by the government. This will amount to a maximum of 1,500 per apprentice. So apprenticeship is a very good opportunity for industries to take up. One is like they are more like students they're taking to train, and the company can save a lot on having apprenticeship on board. And also, not only that, if an apprentice is trained for about 2 years, when he goes out, his value in the market goes up because he's working that particular company and he knows the job in and out. So once again, we're talking about the power of skill development and skilling, and that too right in the industry, the heart of the industry. So that is another scheme the government is focusing. We have more companies coming taking it up. So this is the why apprenticeship. If you ask why apprenticeship, then supply demand matching, dynamic environment, industry environment. It's not a training center, it's directly at work, and relevant training. When an apprenticeship goes into training, whatever training that he does is more for is as it is written, is relevant. So that means it's not going out of it. But if I'm getting trained in a training center and then trying to get a job, maybe the industry will not want it because it is not industry relevant. It's not the in thing. It's not what the industry wants. So that's where apprenticeship. So when if we can push more apprenticeships, this will be a great opportunity not only for the student, for the industry as well, because they will start to have more skilled manpower. So it is aspirational. Or we also have to make it aspiration for these students, so that once they finish the apprenticeship, their value goes up. And this is the data as on date. We have trained 96,000, and those are the industries. 2,637 established. The more are coming in, and then available opportunity. That means every time, see, now apprenticeship is made very simple. It's all on the portal. If I'm a company, I just have to go on the portal and put in my apprenticeship data, and any candidate can access it from anywhere. He can choose to go anywhere, so based on the availability of that apprenticeship opportunity. So it is made very simple, and this is the government's initiative in calling the corporates to come forward, industries to come forward, to work together to take these apprenticeships and train them. And apart from that, NSDC does also international engagement. So we worked with Singapore enterprises, with Japan, and dual Tibet, and we provide advisory and technical assistance, capacity building, international benchmarking, according to, and like for example, now the UAE and UK and all those, Australia, they accepted people who train under NSQF level in India. And so they said, okay, it will be as equal to getting trained in Australia. So a skilled workforce, a person who's done a training under NSQF can directly go to Australia or UK or UAE, because this particular certificate is accepted there. So we didn't have this earlier, because they have to write an exam earlier, they have to go under, and they will get paid less. Now that has been broken by NSQF. So that is the power of NSQF today. And finally, I don't know if you've heard about this. There is something called World Skills. It's more like the Olympics for skills across the globe. It happens once 2 years, and the last one happened in Kazan, 2019. And even now, Tamil Nadu government was planning to have a World Skills program in the Chennai Trade Center. Unfortunately, the Corona issue had come up, and we had to postpone the entire thing. So the World Skills has around 400 competitors, 27 states, 46 skills. And Olympics, it takes into account also the disabled people. And this is the recent update on World Skills. Team India wins 1 gold, 1 silver, 2 bronze medal, along with 15 medal of excellence across key skills. So if you ask me what is the purpose of World Skills, the candidate who gets selected, trained, and participated in the World Skills, the next level is he's taken directly for employment. He travels to many countries. It's more like an inspiration. He comes to his hometown. A lot of people come from a very bad background, very background filled with poverty, and go on to a next level. It's more like more of an inspiration for others to start taking skilling. Ultimately, having a growth of the skilled population in India. So India finished 13 out of 63 countries. So that's a great thing, and we're still moving forward. With that, I will close the session, open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Rufus George, sir,
Thank you,
for
sir.
your presence and making it to happen. India is looking for skilled country, employable labor, ready to work, and you have covered about the efforts of government of India, which is taking on, and the recognition across the border. That is the most significant, not only for efforts by the government, it's made compatible with many countries, and you have shown about the number of participants, what is the benefit. I hope the session for all the participants across colleges, education institutions, industry, corporates will make an eye-opening session to make it out to the next level of progress. As you are aware that in our campus also we have been having a nodal center PMKV T1, and we had implemented many projects, and maybe those who are having the further step, they can move to the next level. It was a wonderful session, sir. Due to time constraint, I will share the questions to you for getting a feedback. Dear participants, will get the answers from sir, and we'll be sharing to you very soon. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your presence. And this is a need of the hour. That was a feedback what we got from many participants. One with respect to Make in India mobile manufacturing by Ganesan sir, and second with the skills needed for the current situation where the future is depending upon. So the two sectors, preparing ourselves for the future and making employable for us. It's a good combination. So we are happy to have an elite panel members in our global conclave. Thanks for your presence, sir. Over to Lakshmi Mohan, sir.
Thank you, Babu sir. Sir, as a training and placement head of
Yes.
AV group of institution,
Yes.
I would like to thank you and accept you, sir. It was an awesome session. It was an awesome session. Need of the hour session to every one of us. Without employability, candidates can't sustain in the employment market. Definitely, it will be created so many NSQF and word skills and other 400 million entrepreneurs. So many things, sir. We don't have a time to
Yes.
mention all those things, sir, because the next session will be starting shortly. Definitely, we will come to you and meet you, sir.
Yes.
Ganeshan, sir, thanks a lot, and Rufus, sir, thanks a lot. We would like to invite you both to our campus after this lockdown period. Our students will get more benefit when you are visiting our campus, sir. Thank
Yes.
you for your presence, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Ganesan sir, for staying away for the full session. Thank you, Rufus sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, participant. Karthikeyan, you can float this tomorrow's event poster quickly.
Yes.
Dear participants, submit the feedback. It has been posted. And tomorrow we have one more eminent panel member who is joining us, who is known globally. And we are happy that Dr. Sandhya Chintala, Executive Director, IT IES Sector Skill Council, NASCOM, has accepted our invitation. And we are very happy to make Madam to present for us on the topic of facing the new normal, learning and working challenges for the post-COVID-19 world. So I expect all the participants to join us tomorrow. Tune us at 5:10 p.m. We will have one more wonderful session as another key panel member in our group. Thank you. Thanks for your presence. And at 6:45, we have another session by AVIT Career Guidance Program. It's today, day 5. Why to join in mechanical engineering by Mr. S. Rajeshekharan, Managing Director, Infan Engineering Private Limited, Chennai, and Trends in Civil Engineering by Mr. M. Tirumalai Kumar, Engineering Manager, Larsen and Tubro Limited, Chennai. Kindly tune to us in the corresponding mail ID. Zoom ID is given. Thank you, one and all, for all the participants across the globe and for India. Thank you. Over to Lakshmi Mohan, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, participants. Definitely, tomorrow will be a great session. Former president of NASCOM will be addressing in the gathering. Don't miss the chance. Thank you, participants. Thank you, guests. Thank you. Thank you, Ganesh.
Thank you, Ganesan sir. Thank you, Rufus sir. Thank you. Thank you. Special thanks to Rajagopal sir and Akshay sir and Joshua sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karthikeyan, wind up the session, Karthikeyan.